Hi everybody, my name is Sandra. Welcome to your practice. Welcome to the west coast of Oahu, one of the Hawaiian islands, the vast Pacific Ocean right behind us. In today's class we're going to focus on twists. Twists have many different benefits, both on a macro and a micro level. They help to maintain or even to increase the mobility of our spine. They release muscular tension and they massage our body from the inside out. Now this brings the lymphatic flow into motion, and the same also goes for our digestion. If done correctly, our spinal discs, they love twists. The twists keep them juicy, they nourish our discs. Basically twists wring our spine, our whole spine out. But we are going to talk about all this in greater detail along the way during the class, where we're also going to review some basic principles of twists and how to work with them. Before we start moving, just one more note. The principle or the principal twisting, the fast twisting muscles really are our obliques in our belly, running diagonally from the midline to our waist, hence the name obliques. And we have two layers. One layer is A-shaped and the second layer is V-shaped. Now you can imagine if this layer of muscle contracts, it helps your torso to turn to one side. So we start today's class with some core work, bringing some attention and focus as well as blood flow specifically to these areas of our body. If this is the front of your yoga mat, I would like you to turn around 180 degrees. We start in a supine position, so lying on our backs. Gently roll down, vertebra per vertebra, keep your knees bent, bottom of your feet on the floor. Allow your feet to be more or less met width apart so your knees can fall gently towards each other. You want to find a comfortable position with your palms facing the sky. Allowing your body a few moments to arrive on the mat. And allowing your mind a few moments to arrive in your body. As you direct your mind a little bit more onto the breath. Allowing your breath to flow freely. Your face to soften. So really allow yourself to be present. Try to shake off the day. Everything that has been and that will be is of no importance right now. Now the next time you inhale, gently extend your legs one after the other. Reach your arms above your head. Make yourself as long as you can. Reaching through your fingertips, reaching through your heels. So you want to flex your feet. Now make the right side a little bit longer than the left. And now the left side a little bit longer than the right. Encourage yawning, supplying your body with extra oxygen. Before you slowly bend your knees again, one after the other, feet go onto the floor. Bring your arms into a T shape and have your palms face the floor. And then from here you lift your feet away from the floor so your knees stack on top of your hips. You want to create a 90 degrees angle between your thighs and your shins and flex the feet. Spread your toes wide so you can feel the air in between your toes and ground your lower back firmly into the floor. So already here you feel your abdominals working. Now really use your arms to keep your upper body, the back of your upper body, firm into the floor as you direct your knees to the right side. Keep your knees close together and keep them hovering above the floor. Your head might want to roll counter. So here we're going to work with your obliques. Come slowly back to center. Make sure you ground the lower back into the floor. And as you exhale, same thing to the left. Keeping your knees close together and trying to maintain this 90 degrees angle between your thighs and your shins. On your inhale, back to center. Ground the lower back, and as you exhale, second side. Keep on going in your own personal breathing rhythm. A few more cycles of breath. And if this proves too hard, then of course just draw your knees a little bit closer into your chest. Otherwise, try to keep this 90 degrees angle we were talking about before. Moving slowly, moving with your breath, keeping your knees close together. As if you had a sheet of paper in between your thighs, you want to make sure you don't lose it along the way. The next time you come back to center, keep this 90 degrees angle again. So as you keep it, as you gently lower the heels towards the floor, but keep them hovering. Maybe just touch the floor gently. On your inhale, bring your knees back above your hips. As you exhale, back to the right side. Into the twist. Now as you inhale, come back to center, knees above your hips, shins parallel to the floor. On your exhale, lower the heels towards the floor, have them gently touch if at all, then slowly as you inhale, back up. On your exhale, bring the knees to the left into a twist. One more time, come slowly back to center. On your exhale, heels gently touch the floor, keep the 90 degrees angle. Inhale, back up. On your exhale, bring your knees to the right side. The head can roll counter. On your inhale, come slowly back to center. On your exhale, bring your knees to the left, and this time all the way onto the floor. So into a twist to the left. You might need to reposition your legs a tiny little bit, so you want to really let go, nothing to hold here. Belly softens, belly relaxed. The next time you inhale, bring your knees back to center. Feet can stay onto the floor, and then a gentle twist to the right side. Head rolls counter. Face soft and relaxed. Allow your body a breath or two to just let go. Observing on how your breath distributes equally in your chest, in your belly, massaging your body from the inside. And then from here you want to bring your left arm all the way across the room to meet your right. Bring both hands onto the floor and push yourself to upright. So bring your hands to parallel, roll the shoulders, the right shoulder back, and you might want to move the left knee a little bit further back into a kind of whole body twist. So make sure the twist is initiated in your pelvis, the left hip point moving forward. A few cycles, deep cycles of breath here. Shoulders roll back, make sure you spread your collarbones wide, neck is long, so make sure you don't just throw your head back. Guiding your breath deep into your oblique muscles. The next time you inhale, swing your left arm far back, coming all the way to the second side. So we swing our right arm to the front. Here we are in our second side. So spread your fingers wide. You might want to try and move the right knee a little bit further back. You might need to reposition your legs a little bit. Make sure you initiate the whole twist in your pelvis so the right hip point moves forward. Lengthening your spine, neck is long and free. Continue breathing. From here we transition slowly into our mini cobra. So you want to lie down on your belly, spread your fingers wide underneath your shoulders, hug your elbows in, reach through your toes, ground the groins, reach through the crown of your head. On your inhale, lift your chest slightly, exhale, lower down. So keep it a mini cobra. So as you inhale, lift, not too high, exhale, lower down. One more time, inhale, lift. On your exhale, push back into child's pose. On your inhale, round your spine forward, spread your shoulder blades wide, shift your weight forward so your shoulders arrive above your wrists in our upward facing dog. Knees stay on the floor, so you want to roll the shoulders back, and then from here just allow the right hip point to sink a little bit down. Coming back to center, and then the left hip point sinks a little bit further down. Just swaying a little bit from one side to the other, and observe on how that feels in your lower back. Before we come slowly all the way back to center, And then from here you curl your back toes and then just push back into your first downward facing dog of today. You want to bend one leg after the other and want to do some walking moves. And as you do the walking moves, so bicycling your legs, allow your rib cage to turn from one side to the other. Gently warming up your whole body, kneading your body. You might even want to make faces, funny faces like frowning, stretching out your tongue, gazing in between your eyebrows. Before you allow your face to relax and move your pelvis back to center. If you find you need to bend your knees slightly to encourage length in your lower back, please do so. Spread your fingers wide, draw your whole palms down into the floor and guide your sit bones high towards the sky. Inhale, shift your weight forward into plank pose, unrushed. Exhale, chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, lift your heart in mini cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog again. One more of those. Inhale, shift your weight forward, plank pose. Chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. Inhale, lift your heart in upward facing dog or mini cobra. Downward facing dog again. Deep breathing, a few cycles of breath here. Settle into the pose. Observe on how you feel today. What is your today's point of departure? So at this point you want to set the tone of today's class, observing how you feel today. No judging, there's no good nor bad, without wishing that it would be any different. Inhale, shift your weight forward into plank pose, bring your knees to the floor, cross your ankles and come all the way to a sit, cross-legged position. Ground your sit bones into the floor, allow the spine to grow tall towards the sky. Elongate your spine as much as you can. Imagine you would increase the space in between each vertebra. On your inhale, sweep your arms all the way out to the sides, reach through your fingertips. Exhale, twist to your right side. Left hand goes to your opposite knee or thigh, right fingertips behind you. Spine is growing tall. Inhale, come back to center. On your exhale, second side. Continue breathing. The next time you inhale, come slowly back to center. On your exhale, release your arms down. And now sit a tiny bit back, only to alternate the cross of your legs. Place your hands next to your hips, maybe a little bit further to the front next to your upper thighs. And now push down so you lift your sit bones away from the floor and maybe even the feet. So this time we're not getting into the obliques, but we are working the abdominal muscles. Slowly lower all the way down. Sit down, sweep your arms out as you inhale. Ground through your sit bones. Continue breathing here. Reach through your fingertips high towards the sky. The same goes for the crown of your head. Another deep inhale, lengthen, and with this length as you exhale, twist again to the right side. Roll the right shoulder back. On your inhale, back to center. On your exhale, second side. On your next inhale, come slowly back to center. As you exhale, sweep your arms down by the sides of your body. Lean back. Place the feet close towards each other onto the floor. Now scooch further to the front. Open your knees wide and reach your arms to the front as if you wanted to dive down and forward. And with a little bit of momentum, see whether you come all the way to a stand. Standing forward bend, flip-flop the feet hip joint width apart, allow your upper body to sink down and maybe soften the knees a tiny little bit so you have more space for your upper body to sink down. Inhale, half standing forward bend, straighten your legs, lengthen your spine. Exhale, standing forward bend. Inhale, sweep your arms out to the sides, a tiny back bend on top. Exhale, release your arms. Inhale, sweep your arms out to the sides and up. On your exhale, move your chest unrushed forward and drape down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, lower down. Walk your hands back to the front. Your feet might need to move a little bit further back, so we meet in downward facing dog again. Spreading the fingers wide, spreading your toes wide, softening the face. Shoulder blades firm against the back ribs. Have another cycle of breath here. Now lift your gaze in between your hands. The next time you exhale, either jump or step all the way to the front, standing forward bend. Inhale, lift halfway, half standing forward bend, feet parallel. Exhale, lower down. Push your feet down, lift your heart, sweep your arms out to the sides and up. Join your palms, exhale. Inhale, sweep your arms out to the sides and up. Exhale, drape forward and down. Inhale, lift halfway. The next time you exhale, bend your left knee only with your spine being long, open to your right side. Right hand goes to your hip or you reach your fingertips high towards the sky. Now if you feel your sacrifice, lengthen your lower back with your fingertips on the floor. Be honest to yourself, bring your left elbow on your left knee or thigh instead. You don't have to prove anything. Work with the body you have. Another inhale here. Spiral your chest up. On your exhale, standing forward, bend upper body drapes down. Inhale, lift halfway. On your exhale, left leg stays straight, the right knee bends slightly, open to your second side. Make sure you keep your feet equally grounded without clenching your toes. There's no need to clench your toes. Observe on how your breath goes. Another deep inhale here. On your exhale, release all the way down, standing forward, bend, head being really heavy. Inhale, sweep your arms out to the sides, come to standing. On your exhale, reach your left fingertips to the front, your right fingertips back into a twist. Arms parallel to the floor and allow the pelvis to join the twist a tiny little bit. And gaze back towards your right fingertips. Feel the feet grounding from where you're growing tall. Increasing space in between our vertebrae. Now turn your right palm to face the sky, and the next time you inhale, lift your right arm high above your head all the way to the front. Soften your elbows slightly and gently push the air down. Inhale, sweep your arms out to the sides and up. With maximum length in your spine, twist to your left, so the right fingertips reach the front, left fingertips reach far back. Ground your feet. Open your left palm to face the sky. Keep on reaching through your fingertips. And now the next time you inhale, lift your left arm above your head all the way to the front with your elbows soft. Gently push the air down. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, move your chest forward and dive down. Inhale, lift halfway, lengthen, reach through the crown. Exhale, standing forward. Inhale, step your right foot far back into your lunge. Lower the back knee down to the floor. Lengthen the back toes. On your inhale, sweep your arms to the front and above your head in your Anjaneyasana, rising moon. Lower your left hand to the front knee. Keep on reaching through your right fingertips and see whether you want to sink a little bit deeper in the hip. Face relaxed and soft. Deep breathing. The next time you exhale, reach your right arm to the front, left fingertips to a floor or a block, and with your right arm continue this circle. On your inhale, open to your right side. Right fingertips reach high towards the sky. So this is a level 2 class, so it goes without saying that you choose whether you want to bring your right hand to the hip. Even if I'm not going to shout out variations all the time, you go for them if you find that this just fits your ability level and the tone of today's class better. Spiral your chest up. On your next exhale, lower your fingertips, Both sets of fingertips to the floor, curl the back toes under, downward facing dog again. Shift your weight forward, plank pose, inhale, vinyasa of your choice, exhale, unrushed. Inhale, lift your heart in your back bend, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg into dog split. Try to keep the hips as squared as possible, pushing through the right heel. On your exhale, step your right foot in between your hands. Next time you exhale, standing forward bend, feet parallel. Inhale, lift halfway, shoulders firm against your back ribs. Exhale, release down, head being heavy. Push your feet down, sweep your arms out and up. Join your palms, Tadasana. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, move your chest forward and down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release. Step your left foot far back into your lunge. Lower the back knee down to the floor, lengthen the back toes. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the front and above your head, lift your heart. Bring the right hand to your right knee or thigh, but keep on reaching through your left fingertips. Whenever your breath starts to waver, step back a little bit. If you need to rest, your call. Listen to your body and its needs. Nothing to prove. You're not trying to make a point or anything. On your next exhale, reach your left fingertips to the front. Now continue the circle as you bring your right fingertips to the floor and open to your left side. Spiral your chest up towards the sky. On your exhale, left fingertips go to the floor. Curl the back toes under, push it back into your downward facing dog, where you either stay or you flow through the vinyasa of your choice. On your inhale, move forward. Make sure we're not just ticking things off the list. Meeting back in our downward facing dog. Step your right foot a tiny bit further into the midline before you lift your left foot away from the floor, pushing through the heel. And instead of height, try to find length. So you want to reach through the left heel. Instead of lifting it super high, try to square the hips as good as it goes. On your exhale, forward into your lunge. Come onto your fingertips, crown reaches to the front. As you exhale, standing forward bend. Release your upper body down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, standing forward bend again. Inhale, sweep your arms out to the sides, come to standing. On your exhale, join your palms. Continue, sweep your arms out as you inhale. Exhale, move your chest forward and dive down. Lift halfway, inhale. Bend your knees slightly in either step or jump back into Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. A few moments here. Step your left foot a little bit further into the midline. Make sure the left heel is pointing straight back before you lift your right leg into dog split, and then curl your right hip open. Keep on pushing through the heel, so keep the leg straight to start with. Pushing through the heel, gazing underneath your right armpit. Before we slowly start to bend the right knee. Now point the foot, lean your upper body back and guide your right thigh far back into space. Face relaxed and soft. On your next inhale, square the hips, unrushed, and then move forward. Step your right foot in between your hands, turn and ground the left foot for warrior number 2. Reach your left fingertips to the front. Right fingertips reaching to the front, your left fingertips reaching back. Inhale, lift your arms, straighten your front leg. Exhale, gently push the air down, the flying version. Inhale, lift your arms, straighten your front leg. Exhale, bending your knee, gently pushing the air down. Continue in your own breathing rhythm. Breath initiating your movement. Now the next time you exhale, let's all meet in warrior 2, reaching through your fingertips. Front shin is vertical, make sure you ground the outside edge of your back foot down into the floor. Grounding actually both soles of your feet firmly down into the floor as the crown of your head and your whole spine is reaching high towards the sky. Encouraging space in between the vertebrae. From here we want to internally rotate our arms, lower them down behind our back, either get hold of your opposite side elbows or come into hidden prayer. Another cycle of breath here. Before the next time you inhale, you want to straighten your front leg, push the front big toe down into the floor, and now reach forward. Keep your arms as they are for now for triangle pose. So the crown of your head is reaching forward into space. You might want to gaze up towards the sky if the sun is not blinding you. Before you open your arms into triangle pose. You're very welcome to use blocks. You're welcome to bring your right hand onto your right shin. Reach your left fingertips across the room so your left arm, upper arm is next to your left ear. Lift your left hip point high towards the sky. Lengthen the tail. Before you bend your front knee, so we come into extended side angle pose. On your next inhale, making your front thigh work for it, come back into warrior number 2. Straighten your front leg, inhale. On your exhale, this time reach forward into triangle pose and bring your right hand to the inside of your front leg. If you're not bringing the hand to the shin, bring it to the inside. Bend your front knee, cartwheel your left fingertips down to the floor, lift the back heel and flip-flop your right foot a little bit further to the side. So have the right foot rotated 45 degrees before you bring your right hand onto your right knee or thigh, pushing down and lifting your chest towards the sky. The back heel is lifted, the back leg is super engaged. Continue breathing. Before we continue to flip-flop the right foot further to the side, so we come onto the outside edge of the left foot. Right hand goes to the right hip, engage your left arm. So make sure we do not collapse in the left shoulder, but you might want to micro bend the left elbow, especially if you tend to overextend it. Lift your right foot a tiny bit away from the floor and see whether you can balance here. Maybe even extend the leg to the side. Before you rebend that leg and step your right foot behind you, lift your navel high towards the sky, reach your right fingertips across the room in the wide thing. Lift the right heel, left leg stays engaged. Slowly unrushed, back into three-legged plank pose. So you keep on pushing through the right heel. Before you bend your right knee into your chest and then extend your right leg to the left, and flex the right foot, come onto the outside of your left foot and sit down. Both legs engaged and straight. Press your hands down into the floor, roll the shoulders back, and we are in a kind of similar shape as regards the upper body as in the beginning. Only that we add the hamstring, the right hamstring. A gentle twisting action of our spine. It's not much of a twist really, but like in all twists, we try to encourage length in the spine. Continue breathing, and maybe if there's more range of motion, bring your forearms to the floor. A few cycles of breath here. Either stay where you are, respect your limits, or if you want to go further, a pose I've been playing with a little bit recently is you reach your right arm to the front and dive your left arm down under to the right. Left palm, or both palms facing down. A tiny bit of a pulling action with your left hand, although you're not moving the hand really. And you might feel this in different places in your body. And if you find you feel this in too many places and you feel distracted and overwhelmed, then come back to the previous pose. Before we come back to center, everybody back to center, find your way unrushed into downward facing dog again. Few cycles of breath, feeling the aftertaste before we do the second side. Step your right foot a little bit further towards the middle before you lift your left leg into dog split. Now as you lift the leg, already now curl the hip open and keep the leg straight to start with. Pushing through the heel. You might want to watch underneath your left armpit before you start slowly to bend your left knee. From here you want to point the left foot and guide the thigh back as you keep on lengthening the tail. Make sure your right foot is as if a normal downward facing dog and you don't turn the foot in any direction, so the heel is pointing straight back of your right foot. Keep your arms engaged. Inhale, square those hips again. Shift your weight forward. Draw the left knee into your chest. Have a cycle of breath here, spreading the shoulder blades wide before you extend your left leg to the right, flexing the left foot, coming onto the inside edge of your right foot and sitting all the way down. So you have a more or less 90-degree angle in your legs. Pushing your hands down into the floor, rolling the left shoulder back. And again, it's a kind of twist. It's not much, but it's kind of initiated in the pelvis again. Not all the time we initiate the twist in the pelvis, but in this pose it really is about moving the right hip point forward and then allowing the twist to spiral gently up your spine. Keep the neck out of the equation though. Either stay as is. If you can work with more sensation, bring your forearms to the floor. We don't want to be overwhelmed. Again, it's not about ticking things off the list. It's about becoming familiar with your body and using the poses really to become familiar with our state of being, of how our breath goes. It's not about becoming any better. Stay as is. If you want to try something new, reach your left arm to the front, palms down. Dive your right arm underneath. We are in a kind of cross shape, if you notice that. Our whole body is in a kind of cross. Palms down. And the right hand is pushing down, a tiny bit of a pulling action, so as if the right shoulder wanted to move further to the right. So you feel that in various places. Slowly back to center. Hands go to the floor. Find your way back into downward facing dog again. And you might have noticed that I forgot a part. Not a problem, we do that now. So the next time you exhale, you step your left foot in between your hands, turn and ground the right foot. For warrior two, reach your right fingertips to the front and above your head. Let's meet in warrior number two. Reaching through the fingertips. Inhale, lift your arms, straighten your front leg. Exhale, gently push the air down, rebending your front knee. Inhale, lift your arms, front leg straightens. Exhale, continue. Allowing your breath to initiate the movement. finding ease and lightness. Keep your back leg engaged, feel your feet grounding. Let's meet in warrior number 2 again, reaching through your fingertips. Tailbone lengthens, we want to lengthen the spine, it's growing high towards the sky instead of leaning forward. Internally rotate your arms before you lower them down, either getting hold of your opposite side elbows, change the grip if you held your elbows on the other side, or bring your palms into prayer. Effortless effort. Not too much, not too little. On your inhale, straighten your front leg, push the front big toe down into the floor. Now reach your left shoulder forward in space into a kind of triangle shape, only that our hands are still in prayer. Before you release your arms, left fingertips to the outside of your front leg, or you're holding the shin, resting on your shin, or of course you can always be using a block. Make sure we do not collapse in our lower shoulder. From here we want to try and reach our right arm above our head, across the room, reaching through the fingertips, from the fingertips to the right hip point, from the right hip point to the outside edge of the right foot, lengthening the tail. Another inhale. Before you bend your front knee, extended side angle pose. You can always bring your elbow onto your knee, of course. Make your front thigh work for coming back into warrior number 2. Inhale, straighten your front leg, and once more on your exhale, reach forward into triangle pose. This time, if you lower your hand to the floor, bring it to the inside. Both shoulder blades firm against your back rib cage. Bend your front knee, cartwheel your arms down to the floor, both on the inside of your front foot. Now flip flop the left foot to the side, 45 degrees. Back heel lifts, back leg engaged. Pushing your left hand into your left knee and gently open it a little bit further to the side. And as you push your hand into your knee, spur your chest a little bit further to the sky. Might feel something in your left hip rotator muscles. Continue breathing. Continue to flip-flop the left foot to the side. As you do so, you come onto the outside edge of your right foot. Maybe you need to micro-bend the right elbow a bit if you tend to overextend your elbows, but make sure you do not collapse in your shoulder. So lift the left hip high, left hand on the hip, either stay as is, or see whether you can try to lift the left foot away from the floor and maybe even extend the leg to the side. Rebend your left leg, step your left foot behind you, lift your heart towards the sky in the wild thing. Left fingertips reaching across the room, right leg really engaged. Before we transition slowly back into our plank pose, into downward facing dog. Plank pose as you inhale. Knees to the floor, chest and chin, exhale, unrushed. Mini cobra, inhale. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, swing your right arm forward, swimming child. Sit back, exhale. Swing your left arm forward, inhale. Exhale, sit back. Inhale, shift your weight forward onto your hands, rounding your spine, head is heavy, spread the shoulder blades wide. Transition into upward facing dog. Your knees lifting away from the floor. Lifting your heart. Another inhale. Before we push it back. Downward facing dog. Take an inhale here. Gaze in between your hands, and the next time you exhale, either jump your feet to the outside of your hands or take 2 steps. into a squat. So the feet slightly rotate to the sides. You want to sit down as deep as it goes. If this doesn't work, I recommend, rather than rolling a mat, it can take too much time really, to just stay a little bit higher, have the feet wider, and use your elbows to push the inside of your thighs open. This is very valuable work, lengthening the spine. Otherwise, let's meet in our squat, pressing the elbows against our inner thighs, but here we bring the palms together, lifting your heart. And instead of just relying on our elbows to push the inside of our thighs open, you might also actively do so. You're using the muscular action of your legs. Lift your heart. Today, a little bit more emphasis on really lengthening the spine. It's always important, but especially, we're not going to twist now, but especially since this is a twisting class, twists are always, I would say, always initiated from a long spine. That's what our discs really like. Lengthening the spine first, and from there moving into the twist. Also, although we're not doing it now, but we want to lengthen the spine. Continue breathing. Lower your hands down to the floor. Straighten your legs at least a tiny bit. Lift your butt, and now flip-flop your feet further away from each other. Maybe one leg width, not too far really. You might want to use blocks underneath your shoulders. Roll the shoulders back. Engage your legs. Crown of your head is reaching to the front. Sit bones are reaching back. So now that we're going to twist, we want to encourage lengthen the spine first. From the lumbar spine, even from the tailbone, reaching back to the crown of the head, reaching to the front. Bring your left hand flat on the floor or a block, or fingertips to the floor. Really depends on what you're working with, but don't sacrifice lengthening your spine. Inhale, lengthen. On your exhale, open to your right side and initiate the whole thing in the pelvis again. So your right hip point lifts, your left hip point sinks down, so you will feel that in the inside of your left thigh as well. So this is often taught differently. Often it's taught like you want to keep your hips squared and only twisting your spine. There's nothing really wrong about that, but especially people struggling in the lumbar spine area, sacroiliac joint area, find it a relief and find more space here really. Slowly lower all the way down. Right hand to the floor. Take an inhale, lengthen, reach the crown of your head forward. On your exhale, second side. Left fingertips reaching high towards the sky, or hand to the hip. Keep on reaching the crown of your head forward. Keep on pushing your feet down. On your next exhale, coming back to center. Both sets of fingertips to the floor. Bend your knees slightly. Spine stays long. Hands to your hips. Come all the way to upright to standing. Open your right foot to the front. 90 degrees. The left foot stays as is. We are kind of shorter strided than we might usually be in triangle pose, but let it for now be like this. Keep your hands on your hips. So actually now reach through your fingertips. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, reach your right fingertips to the front. So let the right hip point sink further down. And then bring your right hand to your right shin. If you have a block, I recommend using a block. I don't have a block handy right now. So you have a block on the outside of your right thigh. Otherwise, hands on the shin. And for now, I want you to bring your left hand onto the back of your left hip. And we're going to explore a twisting action in triangle pose. We are usually not working that much with really, but poses can be done in different ways at different times for different reasons. Now we're going to explore different twisting actions. So what we do first is rolling the left shoulder far back in space. You want to spiral the chest up towards the sky. So far nothing that new really. You want to lengthen the tailbone. And now you use your left hand, the palm flat against the back of your left hip, to push the hip forward again. So you kind of wring your spine out. Imagine your spine would be like a towel or a wet sponge you want to wring out, and you move it in opposing movements. Now this might be something for some bodies, for other bodies it might not be that interesting, but just explore, it might still be a new thing. So the upper spine is moving back, so you spiral your chest up, left shoulder back, all the while moving the left hip point a little bit further to the front again. Keep on lengthening the tail and grounding the outside edge of your back foot into the floor. From here, we bend your front knee slightly, come all the way back to upright, parallel the feet. Before we go, do the same thing on the second side. Open the left foot 90 degrees, keep the stride shorter. I find it's more interesting and more accessible kind of then. Lengthen the tailbone down, reach through your fingertips, take an inhale. On your exhale, reach your left arm forward, lower your left hand onto your shin or a block, and the right hand goes onto your lower back but towards the right of your spine. Roll the right shoulder back, spiral the chest up towards the sky, and now gently push your right palm against your lumbar spine, the right side of the spine. So we want to wring, as if you wanted to wring the spine, or kind of opposing movements. You might find that interesting, might work for you, it might not work for you. Drop the thought. Lengthening the tail, grounding the outside edge of your back foot down into the floor. Before we slowly bend the front knee, come back to upright, parallel the feet, hands to the hips. Open your feet a little bit wider this time. Inhale, lengthen. On your exhale, move your chest forward. Keep your spine long. Bring your fingertips onto the floor. Left hand flat on the floor, or you're using a block. Inhale, lengthen. Crown of your head reaches to the front. Exhale, open to your right side. And this time you might want to explore what it's like to try and keep the hips a little bit more square, and only twist in the spine. So you don't initiate the twist in your pelvis. So you will see that the twist is a little bit more restricted. That's a normal thing, really. If you feel strain in your lower back, you come back to the previous version. It's more friendly, I would say, on the lumbar spine, on your sacroiliac joint area. Come slowly back to center and down. Right hand on the floor. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, open to your left. And observe on what it's like to keep the pelvis out of the equation. It might then even be more appropriate to have the left hand on your hip. Since you're not going to spiral your chest that high towards the sky, it will be difficult, or more difficult, to keep your left shoulder externally rotated. Spaciousness in between your collarbones. Work with that. Come slowly back to center. Before you rotate the right foot 45 degrees to the side, bend your right knee. Walk your hands a tiny bit further to the right. Right elbow pushes against the inside of your right thigh. Now sit a little bit deeper. Spread the right fingers wide. Crown of your head reaches to the front. And play with the stretch of the inside of your thighs. Don't stay there for long. This is a transition. Do this as a transition, but still it's not a giveaway pose. Another cycle of breath. Before you rotate the right foot all the way to the right, 90 degrees, right fingertips to the inside of your right thigh or elbow to the knee, reaching your upper arm across the room, extended side angle pose. Spiral your chest up towards the sky. Spine is long, a tiny bit of a twist in your spine if you observe that. Lengthening the tail. Lower the left fingertips to the front, lift the back heel. Move the right foot further to the right and the left knee onto your mat. It should end on your mat. If it doesn't end on your mat, you need more padding, do something about it. Bend your left knee. Swing your right arm around and behind, getting hold of the top of your left foot. Roll the right shoulder back. And there are several ways to make this whole thing more interesting. You could bring the left elbow to the floor, but for now, I would say we just stay as we are. Instead, allow the right hip point to be heavier. You will see that lifting the right hip point and allow the pelvis to join the twist, which we can do. But if we don't do it, we get a little bit more into our thighs, which is a good thing to work with. And we can still encourage the spiraling action in our upper body. So again, it's this kind of wringing action of the spine, if you know what I mean. The pelvis moving in an opposing direction of our upper spine. Like you're wringing out a towel. Continue to breathe deeply. Release your left foot, both fingertips to the floor. Straighten the back leg. On your exhale, step the left foot to the outside of your left hand and sit back down in your squat. Or the sumo fighter shape, the other version I was suggesting before. Lift your heart. Either stay as is, or you want to see whether you can extend your arms high towards the sky. Working with the body that you have. Slowly, hands to the floor. Step your left foot far back into your lunge again. Parallel your feet. Rotate the left foot 45 degrees to the side as you bend the left knee. Maybe you need to step the right foot a bit further to the side, and now use your left elbow to push the inside of your left thigh open. Lengthen your spine from the crown of your head reaching to the front, sit bones reaching back. And play with what it means, lifting the buttocks a little bit, lowering further down. Be curious and meet your needs. It's not important what you want to be able to do, it's important really to acknowledge what you're able to do and then work with that. Rotate the left foot further to the side, so 90 degrees. Left fingertips to the floor or left elbow onto your left knee. Rotate your right hip point or stack your right hip further onto your left. Lengthen the tail, reach your upper arm across the room if you don't want to bring your hand to the hip. And spiral your chest up, engaging your back leg. Let go of your opinion, what you think about it, drop your thoughts. Become aware of your breathing in the middle of this physical experience. Lower your right hand down to the floor, lift the back heel, flip-flop the left foot further to the side, rotate it 45 degrees or even more. Before you lower the back knee down, lengthen the back toes to start with. And then bend the right knee, reach your left arm behind you, getting hold of the top of your right foot. Your left elbow might want to point towards the sky as you roll the left shoulder back. You're doing some shoulder work here as well. So allowing the left hip point to be heavy makes a huge difference in your right thigh. You feel an immediate response. It's millimeter work, maybe not that visible from the outside. But it's not important what is visible from the outside. It's important how you feel in the pose, how you embody the pose. Slowly release the right foot. Bring your fingertips to the floor, straighten the back leg, and this time we're going to parallel the feet again. No second or third squat. So wide stride, releasing your upper body down, head being heavy, and allow the shoulders even to sink down towards the floor. A few moments here. Before you bring your hands flat down underneath your shoulders again, or maybe on your fingertips, maybe using blocks, spine long. Bend your knees and now flip-flop or jump your feet back together. Feet close together, knees close together, and lift into chair pose. Reach your fingertips high towards the sky. The next time you inhale, straighten your legs, but lift your right foot away from the floor so the right thigh is parallel to the floor. Bring your right hand to the right hip to start with. Left hand goes to hold your right thigh on its outside edge. Reach your right fingertips far back into the twist. Now you can use your left hand to push against, and that helps you a little bit into the twist. Either stay as is or see whether you want to extend your right leg, pushing through the right heel. So now this time we only do the twist really in our spine. The pelvis stays more or less squared with the front edge of the mat. Come slowly back to center, bend your right knee, bend the left knee slightly so you take your time stepping back into your lunge. Reaching your fingertips back, crown of your head reaches to the front. On your inhale, swing your arms to the front and above your head. And don't worry about the back knee to be a tiny little bit soft. Today we want to rather work with lengthening the tail and lengthening the whole lower back. For that it might be helpful to have the back knee a little bit softer. Lean forward again. Right shoulder goes to the outside of your left knee or thigh. Bring your palms together. As you push your palms together, left elbow points straight towards the sky. You help yourself a little bit more into the twist. Back leg engages. And remember in twisting actions generally, we want to lengthen the spine. So the crown of your head is reaching to the front as the tailbone lengthens. Spiral your chest up, another cycle of breath. Before we gaze down to our front foot and step it all the way to the front. Keep your feet, your arms as they are. So the your elbow stays glued onto your left knee. As you lift the left heel away from the floor, come to standing. Take the right knee with you. Just a moment here. The spine lengthens, although you're leaning a tiny bit forward. Before we come to upright, this time take your right hand to hold the outside of your left thigh. Reach your left fingertips back. Again, we square the pelvis and see whether we can extend the left leg. Come slowly back to center. Bend your left knee. Bend your right knee slightly and then step it back. This time step it all the way down. Mountain pose. Open your palms to the front. Spread the fingers wide. Sweep your arms out as you inhale, a tiny back bend on top. Exhale, move your chest forward and dive down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release down. Bend your knees, chair pose. Reach your fingertips towards the sky. Distribute your weight equally between the three corners of your foot. Come to standing as you inhale. Take the the left foot with you this time. Right hand gets to hold either, like we've done before, the outside of your left thigh, or if you have more range of motion, the outside of your left foot. Reach your left fingertips back, your left arm back as you extend the left leg. Your gaze might want to follow your left hand. I don't do so today. I don't feel very balanced here. I'm happy right here. Come slowly back to the front. Bend your left leg. Bend your right leg, which is going to be a standing leg, for the while you step slowly back into your deep lunge, reaching your left fingertips back, crown of your head reaches. Inhale, lift your fingertips high into your high lunge. A few cycles of breath here. Lengthening the tailbone down, encouraging length in your whole spine. The swell is picking up, the wind is picking up, which is nice. It's pretty hot. And lean forward. Bring your left shoulder against the outside of your right thigh, pushing your hands against each other. Right elbow pointing straight towards the sky, helping yourself a little bit more into a twist. Remember, you want to lengthen your spine. Maybe you want to lean your upper body a little bit more back in space, maintaining the length in your whole spine. Gaze down to your front foot and step it all the way to the front. Keep your left elbow glued to the outside of your right knee. Lift the right heel away from the floor and then come to standing. Just a moment of balance here before you find your variation. Left hand either holding the outside of your right thigh or the outside of your right foot. Reaching your right fingertips far back. Attend to your breathing. Especially when it comes to balancing, we tend to hold the breath. Not helpful at all. Slowly back to center and then step it unrushed all the way down. A few moments to feel the aftertaste with both of your feet back on the floor, grounding. Crown of your head reaching high towards the sky. Open your palms to the front. If your arms a tiny little bit wide, a little bit more of a receptive pose. Lengthen the tailbone down, lean a tiny little bit back. As you inhale, lift your arms. Maybe join your palms above your head and lean a bit more back. Exhale. Feel your body moving through space. Lower down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Left hand onto the floor, bend your left knee slightly, right leg stays straight. Open to your right side again. Feet ground. On your exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift halfway. Establish length in your spine and keep that as you open to your left. Right leg bends a bit. Spine lengthens as you twist around the axis of your spine. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, pushing your feet down, sweep your arms out to the sides, come to standing. Exhale, reach your left fingertips to the front, your right fingertips back, arms parallel to the floor. Ground your feet, continue breathing. And observe, without changing anything, just observe on how much your pelvis joins the twist. Just become aware of it. Right palm faces the sky. Inhale, lift your arm above your head to the front, gently push the air down. Inhale, sweep your arms out to the sides and up. Exhale, second side, reach through your fingertips. Left palm faces the front, the sky. Inhale, lift your arms above your head. Exhale, lower down. Sweep your arms out to the sides as you inhale. Exhale, move your chest forward and dive down. Inhale, lift your heart halfway. Exhale, jump or step back into chaturanga or downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale. Let's all meet in our downward facing dog. The next time you inhale, shift your weight forward into your plank pose. Navel draws in, crown reaches. Knees to the floor. Child's pose. Swim your right arm forward. Inhale. Instead of sitting back, dive your right arm far down underneath your left shoulder as far as it goes. Move your left hand a little bit further back towards, so that's in front of your face really. And if you bear almost all of your weight on your right shoulder, not on your head. Then you might want to lift your left fingertips high towards the sky or to your left hip. Now you probably observe how your buttocks sways to the left. See whether you can move it a little bit further to the midline again. So breathing is kind of inhibited in twists, especially in this pose. But we can learn through twists to keep on breathing as deep as it goes, even in difficult situations. Something that becomes valuable off mat as well. Slowly bring your left hand to the floor, push it down. Tabletop, sit it back. Child's pose. Swim your left arm far forward, deep inhale. On your exhale, dive it down to your right side. Left palm faces towards the sky. Dive down as deep as it goes. Right hand positioned next to your face, or lift your arm. Now you will observe that when you move your buttocks back to center, let's say, instead of allowing it to kind of escape to the right, that this induces a little bit of a pulling, dragging action underneath your left shoulder blade, and that can be a nice stretch for some bodies at least. Only because breathing is difficult doesn't mean you should just stop breathing. Bring your right hand back to the floor, push it down, sit back into your child's pose, and have a few moments here. Allow the child's pose. I don't want to necessarily say lazy, because you still want to stay awake and try not to just space out, but allow the child's pose to be relaxed. Which parts of your body can just let go here? So you're not distracted by any physical issues here. You can bring more of awareness and attention to the rest of your experience, whatever that experience is right now. Slowly make your way into tabletop position. Spine wants to be really straight in tabletop. Hands underneath your shoulders, spread your fingers wide, knees directly underneath your hips. Inhale, lift your heart, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, draw the navel in, head heavy, tail is heavy, cat pose, spread the shoulder blades wide. Inhale, reverse. Cow, lift your heart. Continue breathing, continue flowing from cat to cow to cat to cow. Your own personal rhythm. Now the next time you are in cow pose, stay there. Distribute the arch equally through your spine, like we try to distribute the twists as equally as possible through the spine. So don't just throw the head back. Navel sinks down, lift your buttocks without collapsing in our shoulders, or our arms are active. Curl the toes under, keep the pelvis tilting forward as you push back into your short-legged down dog. So keep it short-legged, don't reposition the feet or anything. Don't sacrifice in length of your lower back, only for the sake of straightening your legs. So keep the knees bent, if otherwise you can't keep the length in your lower back. Can we lift the toes? Can we spread them wide? Can we feel the air, maybe even the breeze in between our toes? Before you lower them gently back down to your yoga mat without clenching. Take your right hand to hold the outside of your, take your left hand, to hold the outside of your right calf. Gaze underneath your right armpit, so a gentle twist. And you might want to explore what happens bending your left elbow a tiny little bit. And as you hold against your right calf, you might feel a tiny little bit of a response in between your the spine and the left shoulder blade. Slowly back to center. Place your left hand back down to the floor. Right hand holds the outside of your left calf. Bending your right elbow, you can help yourself a little bit more into the twist, which might then also affect the space in between your right shoulder blade and the spine. Place your right hand back onto the floor. We start with the left foot. Step the left foot forward in between your hands. The stride is short. Keep it short. As you turn the back foot, the right foot, 45 degrees, maybe even further down, and maybe make the stance even shorter. I make it even shorter. I have a quite short right Achilles tendon, so I need to make it shorter. I want to straighten my left leg now and square the hips, but keep the outside edge and the whole right foot grounded. So that's why I need to make the stance a little bit shorter. Lengthen your spine as you come on your fingertips. Maybe you want to use blocks. Crown of your head is reaching forward. And either stay as is or come into revolved triangle pose, twisting to the left. Right hand either on the outside of your left foot, or if you want to have a little bit more of stability and balance, keep it underneath your chest, or where your chest was before you were twisting to the left. Hug your left hip towards the midline. Keep on lengthening your spine. Might be difficult in this pose because we added the hamstring. So be honest to yourself, work with props where that feels more appropriate. And I see we got visitors offshore, humpback whales. That's really cool. Slowly all the way back down. Step it back into your downward facing dog. The short-legged version, short-legged dog. As you exhale next time, step your right foot in between your hands. Turn and ground your left foot 45 degrees and see how far you need to shorten the stride to square the hips or guide the right hip point further back in space. Nice hamstring stretch. Keep lengthening the spine. Take an inhale and actually take another exhale, another inhale. We stay here a little bit longer like we did on the other side. Not a giveaway pose, even if you wish. So find a position you can work with. Not too much, not too little. Take an inhale, find even more length in your whole spine. With this length, open to your right side. Hug your right hip point in. Continue breathing. The Hawaiian people are very friendly. They keep on waving at me. And then slowly come all the way back to center before you push back into your downward facing dog. This time a normal strided dog. A few moments here to feel what is there to observe. Nowhere to go. Already doing yoga. Trying to let go of our task-oriented mentality we tend to cultivate too much off the mat already. On your inhale, plank pose unrushed. Knees to the floor, chest and chin, elbows harnessed in. Inhale, lift your chest in your mini cobra and stay. Mini cobra means you have literally no weight on your hands. Roll the shoulders back, harness your elbows in, and then from here reach through the toes as much as you can. And as you keep on reaching, lift your thighs away from the floor. We want to initiate the twist really from our inner thighs. A tiny bit of an internal thigh rotation, and if you like, see whether you want to float your fingertips a tiny bit away from the floor. Crown reaches, toes reach. Another cycle of breath here before we lower down. Slide your hands a little bit further back, elbows harnessed in. Push yourself into your upward facing dog. Continue breathing before we lower the knees down. Cross your ankles and come all the way to a sit. Might want to scooch a little bit further to the middle of your mat. Ground your sit bones nicely. If you know that you struggle lengthening your spine when just sitting on the floor, you might want to use some support. A block I recommend. Some firm support is really often much nicer than just a folded blanket. So see what you have at home to work with. Lean a tiny bit back and bring the right foot to the outside of your left thigh. The left heel is close to your right sit bone, and then we just hug the right knee, and as we hug the right knee we feel the sit bones both ground in equally. If they don't, that means you need to sit higher up. Crown of your head is reaching high towards the sky. So we're preparing for the twist. In the twist you want to increase the space in between each vertebra. Sweep your arms out to the sides as you inhale, lengthen your whole spine. On your exhale, initiating the twist in our lumbar spine, and then let it travel up the spine, open to your right side. Right fingertips behind you. I just like to hug my right knee with my left elbow. You could also do this variation, but I just prefer, at least today, I prefer this one. So just do whatever feels right for you. So twists, they wring out our spine. I just said that already. Like a wet towel or a wet sponge, really wring our spine out. And twists, they have this squeeze, wringing the spine out, and soak effect when you release the towel again. And this not only on a macro level, that is wringing the spine out, but also on a micro level. So the squeeze and soak effect really happens on the level of the cells as well, facilitating the transport through the cell membrane. So the release of waste products and the uptake of nutrients and oxygen. And the latter supported by our breath. So each time you inhale, you come a tiny bit out of the twist and lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, squeeze, release back into the twist. And it might not be really visible from the outside, or not that much visible, but allow your upper body to gently oscillate with your breath. The next time you inhale, come slowly back to center. Lean a little bit back, unwind your legs, place your feet onto the floor parallel, hands behind your fingertips to the floor, roll the shoulders back, push the feet down, push your hands down, lift your heart. Feet want to end up underneath your knees, so you might need to adjust a little bit. Roll the shoulders back, lift your navel high, and if you want to just allow your head to drop back, do so. Nothing I appreciate, but you can do so if you're feeling safe. Flip-flop your feet closer together, float the left foot away from the floor and push through the left heel. Before you rebend the left leg, left ankle on top of your right knee. Now lift the hip points high again for one cycle of breath before you lower all the way back down. Outside of your right shin to the floor. Ground your left foot firmly down into the floor. Hug your left knee, lengthen your spine. Crown reaches. Now remember, we want to spiral. We want to allow the twist to initiate in the lumbar spine, and then from here travel up the twist in a spiral-like movement. Sweep your arms out as you inhale, lengthen your spine. On your exhale, into the twist to the second side. Allow your breath to oscillate your upper body, facilitating the squeeze and soak effect. Massaging your body from the inside. And by default, different parts of our spine twist easier than other parts of our spine. And by default, the neck, the cervical spine, twists easily. So often we think by just turning the head far back, we're doing like a very deep twist. But instead, even if we can't by default distribute the twist really equally through the spine, still work on it. So don't overdo the twist in your neck. And instead, initiating it in our lumbar spine, which tends to be not that easy to move into twists, let it travel up. But taking the twist always a tiny bit out of the neck area. On your next inhale, come slowly back to center. Lean back, unwind your legs. Place your feet onto the floor, ground your hands, roll the shoulders back, spread your fingers wide. Push your feet down, push your hands down, lift your navel high. And shoulder opening work. Before you flip-flop your feet close together again. This time floating the right foot away from the floor, pushing through the right heel. If that's within your ability. Bend your right knee, place the right ankle on top of your left knee, lift your hip points equally high before we lower down, unrushed. Placing the outside of the left shin onto the floor into ankle to knee pose. If this isn't within reach, simply place the right shin in front of the left shin. So that makes it a little bit more accessible for the right hip. Lengthen your spine. Flex the feet. Make sure you really stack knee on ankle and ankle on knee. Be really honest to yourself. You will immediately feel the effect in your hip rotator muscle. Take an inhale here. With lengthen your spine, twist to the right side, not far. Take your right hand to hold the right heel. Left fingertips can go behind you to start with. And now lean a little bit forward into the right, but keep the length in your spine so your right elbow comes to rest on your right calf. Right hand now goes into your lumbar spine, your sacrum area. Roll the left shoulder back, and you might feel some interesting stuff going on, not only in your hips, but maybe also in your lower side body. And if you can't feel anything, well, just enjoy anyways. You're still doing yoga. Come slowly back to upright, back to center. Lean back, alternate the cross. So left ankle comes on top of your right knee, right ankle directly underneath the left knee. To start with, we establish length in our spine. Try not to judge where this side feels completely different than the other side. That's just how it is. It's just something else to become aware of. Take an inhale and lengthen. On your exhale, twist to your right side. Start with right fingertips on the floor. Left hand holds your right heel. Keeping the length in your spine, but you lean forward and a little bit to the left so your left elbow comes to rest on your right shin. And now place your right hand flat onto your right lower back. Roll the right shoulder back. Lean a little bit in space. And be curious to explore how tiny micro movements make a big difference. Come slowly all the way back to center and back to just cross-legged position. So what we need next is some wall space. So I have no wall space here, as you can see, but I guess you have wall space back home, and I'm going to ask Kevin to be my wall. So just give us a moment to set this whole thing up, and you take your time, bring your mat to the wall. That's where you're going to stay until the end of the class. So Kevin is going to be my wall. Thank you, Kevin. And what we want to do is find the right distance between your seat and the wall, so that you can extend your right arm and press against the wall, all the while keeping your spine straight. So you want to neither lean forward nor back, so you have to find the right distance really. But we start with extending our legs and only bending the right leg. So bring the right foot, like I don't want to say too close to the sit bone. You want to be able to upright your spine, engage the left leg slightly, flex the left foot, spread the toes wide. And to start with, you can lift your seat and sit on a block. To start with, you want to lengthen the spine. That's how we want to initiate the twist. So hug your right knee, take an inhale, lengthen your spine, and with this lengthen your spine, open to your right side. And I just realized I'm too close to my wall, to Kevin. I would have to lean forward too far. So you want to spread your fingers wide. You want to keep your right arm straight. And you want to make sure, what often happens here is that the right shoulder lifts, kind of, that the right shoulder blade swings out. So you draw the right shoulder blade down the back ribs. It's a pretty deep and effective work. Let's have a few more cycles of breath here. Trying to distribute the twist as equally as it goes through our whole spine. Squeeze and soak. On your next inhale, come slowly back to center. Extend your right leg, bend your left leg, place the left foot to the middle, I would say, of your right thigh. Engage your right leg slightly, spread the toes, flex the right foot, and to start with, lengthen your spine. Take an inhale, crown reaches towards the sky. On your exhale, open to your second side. Continue breathing, left arm straight. So you might also have a nice and unusual new kind of effect and stretch in your left forearm, maybe even into your fingers. Can be interesting to work with. Initiating the twist in the lower portion of your spine. And then allowing it to travel all the way up. So it's the nature really of these seated postures to have the pelvis stable. So here if at all, the pelvis joins the twist very little because we're sitting on our sit bones. Just another thing to know. Might be interesting to know. On your next inhale, come slowly back to center, to a cross-legged position. A few moments to feel the aftertaste. Thank you, Kevin. From here, we take our time coming all the way to a supine position. Maybe you need to shift your mat a little bit away from the wall. You want to make sure to be able to lie down, extending your legs later on, not yet, without touching the wall. So your knees are bent, feet on the floor, reach your arms to the sides. Draw your knees into your chest and cross your right knee on top of your right thigh on top of your left, as if you were sitting in a cafe. And if you want to go further, you hook the right foot around the left calf, kind of eagle shape, eagle arm, leg shape. And then from here you guide your knees, your legs carefully all the way to the left. You might need something to support. I need to remove the microphone thingy here. You might need to support your legs and put something underneath them, if otherwise the twist is too deep, or you might not come to the full pose. So unhook your foot again. What I recommend, because almost all right shoulders now will be lifting off the floor, at least if you don't put something underneath the knee. You can also use the fist, the left fist, to put underneath the knees if you don't have anything else. But still, what I recommend, allow the right shoulder, if that happens, to lift away from the floor today, but reach your arm rather above your head, because this helps us to keep like in healthy, our shoulder oriented in a healthier way than when we have it our right arm reaching out to the side. So don't worry about the right shoulder blade to float. My right elbow is slightly bent. The back of my right hand is resting heavily on the floor. I'm just trying to let go and let gravity do the job. Have another cycle of breath, washing deeply through your whole torso, including your chest, rib cage, your belly, before you untangle your legs. Come back to the middle, feet onto the floor. Draw your knees in, left thigh on top of your right thigh. Maybe you hook your left foot around, so we come in a pretzel shape with our legs, and drawing the knees in as good as it goes, rolling, twisting all the way to the right side. And again, allow the left shoulder to float away from the floor, but still, if you find this is all too deep and you feel kind of hanging there kind of too much, use something to put underneath your legs, maybe your right fist. But instead of having your left arm reaching to the side, move it more above your head. And you will feel that this makes your shoulder feel immediately better. But you don't want to hold anything. Nothing to hold. And remember, you're working with the body that you have. Try not to fool yourself pretending that we work with a different body. A couple of deep cycles of breath. Nothing to hold, nowhere to go. Come slowly back to center, untangle your legs on the way. Before you extend your legs one after the other for Shavasana. Allowing your palms to face the sky. Allowing your feet to flap open. Allowing the floor to support your weight. Nothing to hold. As you relax each single muscle in your body, allow your brain to join and to relax as if it was a muscle, your thinking muscle. Relax your thinking muscle. No need to think. Allow your next inhale to be a little bit deeper again. Making small movements with your fingers, with your toes. Bring your awareness back to the space surrounding you, to the air on your skin, maybe the breeze, maybe the sun on your face, the touch of the floor underneath the back of your hands, the floor supporting all of your body weight. Before you draw your knees slowly back into your chest, unrushed. Roll over to your right side. Make yourself small there. Rolling into your hands, coming all the way to sit. You can still keep your eyes closed a little bit longer. Coming to a comfortable seated posture. Allowing your hands to rest heavily on your legs. A few more moments to observe what is there to observe. Becoming familiar with our state of being. Join your palms in front of your chest. Observe on how your thumbs touch your breastbone. The next time you exhale, slowly open your eyes again. I thank you for joining. Thanks for taking care of yourself. Namaste.